Mr. Norris?
Yes, I'm sorry you didn't allow a member of the public to speak on the last item, but moving on to this item.
If you would speak to the item before,
I will
that'd be
indeed,
fine.
if I'm not interrupted. So, for instance, up in Lighthouse Field, we see the parking lot suddenly persona non grata as far as camping vehicles go. You can find suddenly signs of, yeah, it's true. Mayor Kennedy's raising his eyebrows here, but I think it is true.
No, the idea of a vehicle being persona non grata just kind of captured my imagination, but go ahead.
I think you understand what I mean. And if this simply is more lame duck quackery, as I like to call it, because that's what we've got here, a lame duck council.
Mr. Otkin, let Mr. Norris finish his comments, and then we'll proceed with our deliberations as we try to do on a normal basis.
Council can always overrule the mayor in this matter, and I would indeed save time.
Mr. Tomasi?
Mr. Kennedy, I'm talking to you. I'd appreciate it if you'd look at me. You are disgusting, and you are a disgrace to the United States of America. You took my home, you killed my dog, you took the sight from my left eye, and you did all the nasty things that the devil's cult does.
Thank you very much.
I'm not finished, because I'm ashamed of you, Mr. Kennedy. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. For the rest of your time, you can think, wow, I was the mayor of Santa Cruz. Whoa, I love you.
I think this qualifies as tough love. All right.
So do you think that to yourself? Do you think, wow, I was the mayor of Santa Cruz? Whoa.
I don't think No, I do wonder about our smoking ordinance, though.
Yeah. Apologize for this.
No, I mean, I used to joke before I was on the city council, when my kids were younger, we'd be driving down the street and we'd see a very disheveled person standing on the street corner. I'd say, that's the mayor of Santa Cruz.
Right. Yeah.
A few years later, a delegation was visiting from another country, and I made the same joke. And then a few days later, we were seated at the same table, and Cynthia Matthews, I think, was mayor. And somebody introduced her as mayor, and this guest from the other country said, no, I met the mayor of Santa Cruz. I was so embarrassed. Anyway.
That's great.
No, serving on the council was a great experience. I recommend it for everybody.
A couple of statistics. You were mayor in 94 and 2004, is that right?
Yeah.
You were mayor twice. You served 3 terms
Yeah.
on the council.
Since the Progressives won a majority on the council, basically you win the right to be mayor by being first or second in the votes in the election. So it takes the personalities and politics out of it.
Right.
I see. Do you miss the council? Do you still keep up with it now that you're no longer on the council?
I don't follow it very closely. My wife threatens to leave me if I even channel surf onto that station.
Really?
But there were parts of the council that were great. Working with some council members was one of the highlights of my life. And really, though, being very active in civic affairs and so on, I had no idea how interesting and complex and challenging running the city of Santa Cruz was, and I loved meeting staff members.
Right.
And I'm so impressed by the quality of the department heads, the city manager, and the staff of the employees of the city. I think are just awesome. And it's something that's not much appreciated. I think people pretty much take it for granted.
Sure.
I've actually heard that a lot from a lot of council members of how appreciative they are of this.
It's
staff.
amazing. And
how
again,
much-
they don't get any of the credit.
Right. Yeah.
You think about the city manager, for example, he has to put up with council members like me for, in my
And
case,
others.
even 12 years, or others,
Right.
longer or shorter periods of time.
Yeah.
Yet continues to run an incredibly complex, sophisticated organization,
Yeah.
run it very well. And no, that's one of the things I really miss. I think, 90% of the work that the council does isn't even watched by the public. Most of it's the drama of the council meetings.
Right.
The local paper loves controversy and nonsense, so they highlight those parts of it. Not just our paper, but the Mercury News. I remember one meeting, San Jose Mercury News, not just the Sentinel, but the Mercury News, they ran a thing about when Councilmember Scott had her supporters sing Ode to the San Lorenzo River or something like that, and the Mercury News, that's all they ran about the meeting. And I called Paul Rogers, who then was the local reporter. I said, that's kind of unfair to everything else that was said. And he said, well, my editors tell me if it's not quirky or funny,
Sure.
don't even write about it. So I feel that's why I'm invited
Sure.
on this show.
That's true because we thought you were quirky
I can at
and
least
funny.
be quirky, if not funny.
I will say that we miss your sense of humor on the city council. You were frequent.
Apparently, majority of voters didn't agree with your opinion.
Well,
No, but Tomasi is great.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite stories, I'm walking down the street with my daughter, and we run into Mr. Tomasi, who's a local figure, you know, and he stops us. So I greet him, you know, and he says to my daughter, I love your dad. You know, he's one of the greatest guys who's ever served in Santa Cruz. Oh, thank you so much. This is after I'm off the council.
Yeah.
Then he says, he killed my dog, he stole my house. You know, and he lists this whole
Took the side from
lengthy
your left.
thing.
Side of my left eye.
I said afterwards, yeah, thanks so much. He said,
Yeah.
what was that? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss your one-liners though, for sure.